How you doing, everybody? Randy Richard in the shop. So here's the table saw I'm restoring, and we're going to get the joiner torn apart today. So the joiner is going to sit right here, and for over this big hole, and then that's for the chute, and then over here is the hole for the belt. And I'm working on the motor. Gary Brown is helping me there, so I hope to hear back from him soon. But the saw is coming out absolutely awesome. It's on wheels, so it makes it a little easier to move around, and pretty happy with that. Be sure to check out the other videos on the teardown of the saw and the reassembly of the saw part and such. Please check those out. Please subscribe also if you like any of this kind of content. I don't do a lot of restoration work, but I do a few things. Most of the time I'm doing machining stuff. But we've had some machining on this project also. The end caps on the tubes here. What else? That's probably about it so far. But I'm working on the miter for it, and there's some machining involved in that. So let's take a look at the joiner. So here's the joiner. This is not the original one from this saw, but this is date and time and everything period correct. The same joiner that did come with the saw. This is a, let's see here. Now this fence is not quite all the way back. It could still go back some more, it looks like. The blades measure 6 inches. So this is a 6-inch joiner. Like I said, this fence can slide back a little bit more. Has the cast aluminum blade guard on it. We got a little bit of rust, not too bad. Should clean up fairly easily. It's really dirty, of course. Badges looking a little cleaning, and they're in great shape, almost brand new condition. It has the original handles down in here. They'll need some polishing, obviously. Let's see, we're going to spin it around. So here's the end of it. So this here is a tilting fence. Let's see if I can get this to move. There we go, a little stiff. So you can tip it 45 for an acute angle, but you can also tilt it away 45 also. So you get 90 degrees of movement in there. Pretty nice. And like I said, we could slide this all the way back to get the full 6 inches actually from it. And then you tighten it up with this. See, oh, there, that's kind of nice. This here slides all the way in to loosen the lock nut, or you slide it all the way out to loosen the shaft. How about that? That's a pretty slick setup. And then, you can turn it around. Let's see. And here on the back side, the belt drive. About 2 3/4 inch pulley on there, and the handles for locking the sliding action, or table height, I should say, movement here on each side. And we'll go through all the setup of a joiner when I get this back on the saw when it's all done, and we'll review all that. Pretty nice. It also has adjustable gibs, it looks like, for the sliding part here. Those are adjusting screws. But these are original handles. Usually these are always broken. All this type of handle. So those are nice. And this turns. Once I get this apart, I'll have to investigate bearings, and I should put new bearings in this. So other than that, that's about it. We're going to see about get this thing disassembled. What a joiner is, what it's for, is to smooth up or straighten an edge. When you cut it on the table saw, you might have a little bit of waviness in it. Might not be the smoothest cut. If you rip the board, let's say, it's for sure. You really don't want to run end grain across here. It's a dangerous proposition for one, and it's not really designed for that. It's for with the grain cutting, and this one has 3 cutters on the rotor head. So, but you can straighten out a joint so it's flat and smooth, especially gluing joints where you want it to fit together perfect. You can get extremely smooth edges to boards with this. Some joiners, I have on one of my other joiners, an Inca joiner, I have an attachment that slides on and actually turns it into a small planer, which is very handy. You have to hand feed, push through it, but it actually works really well. But most of the time it's for fixing the edges of boards, basically. So they're straight, flat, square, or even here you can adjust it so to make it angular joints. It's for making perfect joints, thus called a jointer. So the overall bed here length is 32 inches and 6.5 inches wide on the bed, but the blades are only 6 inches wide, and like I said, 32 inches long. So that's the overall dimensions. The fence height is 4 inches, and obviously the fence is a little shorter, so it's 26.5 for the fence length. Start with the fence. There, just loosen it up and slides right off. That's nice. It's got a big nut here, like a T-nut that goes in, just like a tool post on a lathe. Lots of dirt. There we go. A little lube in there help. That just pulls out. Spring tension. A little bit build up dirt. Now Gary Brown from Old Iron Machine Works donated this to the project. Very nice of him to supply the actual model and everything that came with the saw. Just super nice of Gary. The one I had is a Wells Davis one, and it's a bigger joiner, but it wasn't the right one that goes on there. So Gary was able to find one of these he had in his stores, and we got that one. I'm just kind of going around here figuring out how all this comes apart. I know the cutter head comes out as a unit, and I think I have to undo these bolts on the bottom here. Now here is a spare cutter head. It has these blocks. It just comes out as a unit. This one has the wrong pulleys on it, but this is identical to the one that's in here. So you can have a whole head, all sharp blades, all ready to go, and just pull this one out, drop this one in, and you're ready to roll again. But this is the cutter head. 3 cutters. That one probably needs new bearings too. They feel pretty good. Yeah, there's that lockdown bolt from below, so we'll pull those bolts out. There, that's it. That's all that holds it in. And we should be able to loosen these up. Hopefully crank these back. Oh boy. They're stiff. These are dovetails in here for the sliding ways. They're actually dovetails. I'll try to loosen the gibs up. See if they'll slide a lot easier. There we go. Now, we should be able to slide the head out. Just boom, comes right out. This one's going pretty good, so we'll try that. A couple bolts in the bottom that probably hold this nut down in here. Right here, these bolts will probably holds the lead screw nut, and that will make this slide right off probably. There we go. That's the way to do that. Comes right off. And there's the gib. There we go. Take the base off. And the gib for that. And then there's the base. And they still have the locking screws here. Even sawdust probably from that time frame. Huh? Who knows? This is the locking bolt. This looks like a stud. I can see the remnant of a thread over here. This is probably a stud. So it has a locking piece that's in here too. Take this off. Then there's a spring. And there's locking piece in here that comes out, and you can see how it's shaped here. You can see that. Up. There we go. See how it's shaped here with the dovetail cut in it to lock onto the dovetail of the sliding piece. These are 7/16 NC, so had to really scrounge for enough nuts. Not too many things, but evidently on their stuff they used a lot of 7/16 on the table saw the same way. Yeah, it came out. That screw in there holds this bushing. Oh, well, that came right off. Wasn't really on there. There we go. So this badge here is they use drive screws on it, and I bought a bunch of drive screws of the right size, and so I'll just knock these out and I'll be able to put these back on again. And usually there's a hole. Yeah, fortunately they drilled all the way through, right? So they have a hole in the back and get a pin punch in and knock them out. Otherwise they're very difficult to get out. And they did. They went all the way through. Yeah, we're going to try to knock these out. Just, there we go. You can see that they're rather small. There we go. Well, the sawdust. Now we'll get the fence apart. Not too many pieces. Yeah, that's already loose. That was nice. A pointer. three large screws in here that are very tight. So we're going to use this impact driver. These are a great tool to have. You know, you hold it in the direction you want to turn. When you hit it, it will impact drive the head in that direction, or so whatever direction you're twisting it. This here has a flip out stop right there. You flip it out of the way to go to the next one of these three stops, which is pretty nice. So you know you got 45 one way, 90, and 45 the other way. So you flip it out right against the stop and you should be at 45. Now we'll have to make sure all this works right and get it all calibrated. This here is screwed into this piece, I think. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's just pressed in. It's just really tight. No, there's threads. Right here I can see that there's threads, and so I'll have to grab that with something special to not mar that up and get that out. Here's most of the parts, or all the parts I should say, taken apart. Now I cannot get this all the way out. I got it unthreaded, but there's a straight portion of there that is still stuck in here. I'll have to figure out how to get that out. It's probably screwed up on the end or something, and it won't slip out the rest of the way. Oh. But and I still have the stops to take apart. But other than that, and I'll have to take apart the cutter head. But other than that, basically it's all apart. Next will be the cleaning process. Get this apart, figure out what bearings go in there, and still get this apart. Cleaning and then painting. All get painted. We'll make it look just like the saw. Nice. Thanks you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. Knockers are still available. Please email me and get the latest pricing and information on them. Thank you guys. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.